Hey folks, how's it going? RedMaster here, and welcome back to another video where today we are jumping into round 2 of our Old Dogs v New Tricks event. If you are just joining us and are unsure of what's happening here, this is essentially a team elimination 6v6 matchup here, where of course the idea is to knock out the opponent, the opposite team completely. Yeah, English works. Through a series of 1v1 matches. And so far, we've narrowed down our field to 3 on each side. I won't mention which 3 quite yet. You can, of course, check out the video if you missed the first part, which will be linked somewhere throughout the video. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but it's going to be somewhere. Hopefully, if I remember to do that. I think I will. But regardless, we do have some more matches to get to. As you mentioned, 3 players remaining on each side. What's going to happen? Will we see a sweep? Will we see a round 3? Only time will tell, but hopefully we'll see some great action regardless. Of course, Slash is going to be back in the commentary booth for this one, for this series of matches here. So let's see what happens, folks. We do have games to get to. Match number 1 right now. All right, and we're back. Round 2 now underway, as of course Tweakin takes on Terratail in our opening here. Reminder that only he and Vesa remain, so if either of them lose, they'll be eliminated, and if both of them are gone, Team Old Dogs will unfortunately lose. Not a bad start here for Tweakin, as we're trying not to... Oh, there we go.
There are situations you can struggle. I see that Rat King coming out, though. That really makes it a lot smoother of an early game.
Mm-hmm. And you have things like Maddie, which can, of course, be very, very interesting, especially, you know, with what it can pull in the early game. You could see something like Darkbender, Tarius. There's a whole lot of good juice in there. Quick little syncing issues, which hopefully we're not going to run into too much of. Note that we are recording this when Steam is having some widespread issues. So, if we're seeing some of those, yeah, minor lag. It's all good, though, Tweaking, no worries. We are going to see Terra be a little more aggressive here, though, opening with the Lumberjack and Blacksmith. But speaking of Terra, we haven't talked about him too much since this game started here, Slash. Going back, obviously, in the Viking Druid and was very successful in his last matchup here. Do you expect that same level of success going up against the Green-White here?
I think it's going to be very much who draws their cards. This could turn into very much a tempo game, but I think that the high-end power of just Mystic Rats is so much better than that of anything that White-Green can bring to the table. I think additionally that, I mean, you get out in early, you get, what, 2 turns from now, you can get out of Mordok, that could win Tweaking the game here.
Not even, well, yeah, 2 turns. He would have set up the captain in the in this turn, followed up with the Mordok in the next. We're seeing Terra resort to a pillar pass play here. Doesn't really bode well for him, to be honest. Ooh, hello.
Yeah, this is about to get really nasty because all of a sudden that Mordok's gonna have a free undead right off the top.
Pretty much, and yeah, we're gonna see Tweakin kind of avoid it, but also kind of bait something to come out and hit the rat, maybe. The Sapper Captain's a nice backup in case something falls flat here, but overall putting some nice pressure on as we continue forward with the game. And yeah, probably definitely going to see Mordok in the next turn. Pillar Part 2 making an appearance.
Ironically, this is really actually quite bad for Terratail as he's using up all of his resources, and all of a sudden it's just Mordok food.
Yep. Just free Mordok value here.
He sets up this big chain that he could be hit by, but in reality, I mean, we're going to see a Lightning Blade come out. He doesn't have enough for 2 Lightning Blades. He doesn't have enough to really actually deal with it.
He's debating now on how he wants to maneuver.
He needs to move it forward. He needs to move it forward, or else because freezing that Wraith off is going to be so bad for him.
No, and he goes into it. He is going to commit to the freeze here. I guess in his mind, trying to protect whatever pressure he's assembled now to hope that maybe they won't be the target. But still, there's a lot of good value here for Terra to line up on the board. He does have to get a unit out for Lightning Blade. That is the crucial part of this here. And the third pillar in hand. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh boy. So not exactly again the
That
position that.
Southport's going to become hugely important here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how Tweaking wants to approach this. So there are a couple of options that he has. Looks like he wants to set up the Cannoneer for turn. Okay, looks like that's going to be the call. We can Bestial Rage the Captain if we want to, but
I think he hits face here.
yeah, I think face is what he goes for, and he does commit to the face shot. The Spiny alone is not enough to kill off the Captain, and he has to get some kind of global buff established. We could see Blacksmith L-Blade for turn, I would think. Like, that'd be enough to not only clear out the Captain, but then we can have that Blacksmith connect to the Wraith, do a bit of funny chain. Nothing for the Spiny, though. We're going to commit to hitting against that. Do we have a Reanimate? Maybe we do. Single unit Reanimate going to generate the Banshee here. It's going to
Ironically, last time we saw a single unit reanimate out of Terror Tail, it worked out. Here we're seeing a 2-unit reanimate now.
Yeah, and it's making some work happen. We did clear off a couple of things from this board now. Still keeping that freeze onto the Mordok, which is, I think, where Terra wants to be at the moment. Armory, though, for the Southport Captain, Manticore for follow-up as well. Looks like we are going to throw the Bestial Rage onto the Cannoneer potentially here. Or are we going to save that for... Nope, we're going to use it now. So, of course, this is going to mean that I think both pillars will get traded for here.
I'd go after the Banshee, to be honest there.
I mean, you have the mana core to hit that.
I don't think that first pillar's... Yeah.
I mean, that's still fine. We still create an 8/8 range with Rampage. Not only that, but backed by the mana core Spirit Link here, making the units that are already more upfront, very harder to deal with. Vanish, okay, that could be funny with the Horseman or Beastmaster that might be in this deck.
Do
The
we see
third,
Enoroth?
yep, and there's the
Do you
Enoroth.
see Enoroth?
Not enough to keep in mind to trade with the Wraith because of all of that Spirit Link protection and health, but oh,
Man, that's hilarious. However, we
oh,
could start seeing the turn 10 massive power play of
we could. We certainly could.
Temple into, say, Mystic Rats. And that could be quite devastating here. I think that Tweakin really misplayed with that Wraith, and if he had played it differently, he would have, in many ways, won the game by now. That being said, hindsight's 2020.
You are correct. Hindsight is 2020. Terra has a lot of room to work with. Up by a significant amount of cards here. Has the Yenaroth positioned against the Cannoneer. Unfortunately, the Yenaroth just connecting. Okay, he's going to go for a Vanish play here. So probably going to replay the Yenaroth most likely. Yep, there it is. As well as getting the Hassan Guards out. Alright, so Guard's going to be able to actually clean up the Wraith rather than wasting the Yenaroth's attack and movement towards it. And then positioning the Yenaroth to look like he might trade with the Mordok in the next turn. It's going to be pretty... I mean, we're not out of it yet. We have dual draw from Tarius here. I think we're very close to being okay. But now we're getting into, I think, dangerous territory / where if Terra has the right cards in hand, we can create a massive chain setup if we are not careful.
I think the big thing here is that Tweakin's win condition is his buffs, and Terror, the moment he strips them from him, he I think in many ways wins this game. If Tweaking goes ahead and puts down another armory here, I think that's a really bad move. He actually needs some of his board to die off here. He needs that armory just in case he loses his entire board.
Well, it looks like he's...
Something like Yarheim Giant could come out here, and that would end the game.
Oh, yeah, because it has a launching platform from that Lumberjack. Has enough to do about 4 chain, I think, to the map. I think... Would one survive, though? Because, of course, the Lumberjack wouldn't be there to generate that chain towards the bottom.
Uh, yeah. So the lumberjack, the bottom would survive. He says respect. I don't see how he can have it here.
I don't think so. I think he's just kind of... Oh, all right. Well, potentially misplaying lethal here. He goes for one of the 2 armories. Generating the Mystic Journey onto the Yenaroth. Okay, so of course it was going to remove Mordok. I could very much struggle to get that sentence out. Call for
And
Aid's
call
going to be
for
a
aid.
huge pickup. Absolutely huge top deck here. We get a huge Ranger. It's going to clean up the Yenaroth, avoiding any sort of further Mystic Journey triggers. And we keep our board fairly intact here. We only lost about 1 armory in that, but again, nothing that we can't repair from or bounce back from even. Meanwhile, Terra on the other side of things has pretty much no board. Has to get something established here. The lumber trade to open things up. Not a bad way to get some draw going.
I'm
Uh,
surprised by how far back he moves his Son City guard. Maybe that's just nerves. Maybe that's just him not being quite used to proper positioning. But
he's
that's
only
really gonna.
used two reanimates, right? Do you think he has a third in hand?
I don't think so. I think that he just wanted to save a unit, but I would have put it right there in front of Castle because now he's having to, in essence, either sacrifice something to Castle. Yeah, he's going to give away trades here, or yeah, this is just going to be super bad for him. Either way, he's going to be taking the big damage. Um, okay, and he does it correctly. If he had moved forward there, he would have lost basically everything.
It
But
doesn't
I think this
matter
is
though.
game. I
Nope.
think this is.
There's the centaur. We'll see how he wants to play this here. I imagine. Does the centaur look to move in to clear Beastmaster? That way we open up to a big
I
ranger
don't think
strike
he
on
can.
face. Oh,
He'd
he
have to
doesn't have enough
play. No, he
movement.
can. He can play. No, he can. He can. He has to
Yeah.
play like Ranger forward first. But yeah, no, he should have done that. That
Nope.
that would be.
Takes the trade over the
He
centaur
he could
play.
have he could have already actually hit with that. He had lethal this turn.
Yeah.
He missed lethal. Oh well.
It's no big deal. We'll get the centaur shot anyway. That is going to land 5. So now we are threatening with the cannoneer in our next turn. I think we just leave it there, tweak it and pass. Yeah, this looks good. This This I think is going to take out Terratail, bringing the series ever so closer. An incredible game though, Slash, to be sure. While a couple misplays maybe from both sides, I think it still turned out
Does he
well.
have Yenaroth?
Oh, you're right,
That's the
Yenaroth.
one question. Does he have Yenaroth here? And if so, does he play correctly? First moving all these units to block castle, then playing the Yenaroth.
I don't know. That's a big question. I mean, he hasn't given up or surrendered yet. Usually, if he doesn't have anything by now, it would just be a sort of, you know,
I
move
think
and.
Tweakin's trying to help him along there, giving him a little bit of encouragement to surrender.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, ooh. I mean, sure. Doesn't really take out the Cannoneer, though. Just one shy, unfortunately.
I think that's Terror
Unless we can get a fat
throwing in the
reanimate
towel.
here off the Beastmaster. We still have 3 gold. No, it's another
No,
spine.
he doesn't have it. If he
Ah,
had that reanimate, even then he still did not have a chance in this game, to be honest.
right. I think it was too far gone at this point. But overall, lovely game from both competitors here. And with that, Tweakin survives and moves on. Of course, he does his team proud. And, God, I mean, we have, what, Vesa v... Death's Advocate next. Going to be a tall order from there. But even if he still moves on, he still has more opponents to face. So very curious to see how the rest of this event will go. Slash, I know you're probably feeling excited. So what do you say we jump right in to our next game?
Let's do it.
And Slash, we're back. Game number 2. Of course, DA taking on Vesa in a mere matchup of faction colors. I mean, I'm just gonna get into it here. Who do you got on this one? Because if I know DA, obviously he's bringing back out the spawner global buff, in these specific colors. Vesa, meanwhile, gonna probably go with his, classic in-your-face type strategy. Who do you favor in this one for that specifically?
I think it's going to all depend on the opening. I think that I think DA has a fairly decent opening, but the issue is that Vesa, for all we know, he might be playing, say, a turn 3 Talos into quadruple buffs the next turn, and that is basically impossible to stop in the early game. Right? I mean that Dagger Storm looks good. I think in this matchup with these colors, I'm gonna have to take DA here. DA is so prolific with his red green undead. It's what he's known for. It's the thing he does. Vest's been running monsters apparently.
Yeah, Manfish making an appearance here. That's gonna do a little bit of work here. DA can't clear that immediately without wasting the Dagger Storm, which we know he's not gonna do for a single man fish. Opts to go with the Blacksmith instead. Start getting that global buff train going here. He can follow with Armory in the next turn if he wants to. If I know Vaseven, though, he's gonna have no fear when confronting this rat. I think we're gonna see him punch in again, just because I feel like that's the playstyle we've seen out of him, over the past several. Yeah, I'm right. There it is. There's the slap with the
Yep.
manfish. And then, of
He
course,
just sends it, and he gets the dagger
oh
storm. That's
my.
actually so much value.
Oh!
He's doing it, ladies
Yep,
and gentlemen. He's believing.
he is believing. He is the wonder child here. Oh my god. And I mean, DA's hand, of course, looking like it could deal with this, but I mean, how he wants to proceed with it can be very important here. I'm going to see the fear back. We're going to look for the draw cycle. We get that blue firebolt. All right. Oh my god, we're going to commit to the dagger. Oh! Slash, we're committing to the dagger storm. Oh my lord here. So, I'm trying to like formulate words to feel how to just state how I feel about this. Darkbrenner coming out. Yeah,
Oh, it all crumbles.
there's the valuable Jaggerstorm target. Making an appearance right in the following turn.
That didn't matter what kind of spread. If you get a single dagger storm on that, then in essence you are guaranteeing that that unit can't be a menace for the entirety of the game. And while you have a mercenary execution to deal with it, I'm sure that there are other cards in Vaseven's deck lurking that you would prefer to use it on.
Absolutely here. It felt like a bit of a rash, impulsive judgment from our end, to be honest here. I'm not sure what the thought process here was. But, I mean, we're going to see
And he full
Vaseman.
sends it again.
Oh my god, here we go. Captain in the hand here. Darkbender committing as well. Picking up a second Dragon's Fire, which is going to be used at least once here. So we are going to pop that Southport Captain. Not super bad. Rat going to go ahead and offer the sacrifice here. We're going to see, okay, dual rat sacrifices here. Trying to see if he can bait Vesa to hit
Red,
one over the other. Yo.
what if Vaseven was running OTK? He plays double demonic here and then double flamestorm next turn, winning the game.
Then that's it.
There is no guarantee. I can guarantee you, there's no world that ever happens.
I mean, has Vase ever committed to a demonic rage deck? I don't feel like he has. It just, again, it doesn't fit him, but I could be wrong. Maybe he has committed to it in the past, but we'll follow up the Minotaur here. Yep, big beat smasher boy. Drawing into the Rakanoth here, but that doesn't matter. We got the execution. We got the rat hitting Darkbender. That was certainly not the kind of turn that Vason wanted to see, but it happened. The bright side is that Reaper doesn't really have a whole lot more unit-wise he can go into. He's kind of relying off the Hovel, plus the Shaman at this point in the game. But still, I think it's going to be very tough for Vason to bounce back here. He doesn't have any global presence established. We're hiding the Minotaur in the back here. Okay, not something I expect from him, but sure. Committing into a Shaman now, we get another Armory. Slash, at what point do you feel like it's just over in terms of the global game? You know, you've got Reaper establishing dual armory, Necromancer for undead specific units as compared to Vasa's pretty blank board on the other end.
I don't ever want to call it just immediately because
Right.
here's the
Okay.
thing: is that DA clearly has a much more favorable position. That Minotaur, I'd say, I'd almost discount it as being even on the board at this point from the singular rat hovel. However, for all Vaseven is known for running Kraken in his deck. If he's had 3 Kraken in hand since the beginning, all of a sudden that's starting to look very bad for DA because everything that he's putting down all of a sudden becomes free. We
Yeah.
know this is a monster deck. I don't think though that it can compete against a globals deck until it has any sort of globals of its own present. And I mean, we could see all of a sudden Vaseven just dump them. He's been known to
Those full
do it
send
on a single turn, but I don't
turns.
think he has any globals in hand because we would have seen them come out last turn. Yeah, we would have seen them already.
Yeah. We are at 8 gold, though. Probably getting into the Kraken range, like you mentioned here. Looks like we're going to commit to a Blacksmith plus Serpent Witch. Okay, Serpent Witch, certainly a nice little card for monster decks here. Chunky body, getting the stun. Very nice to include, but is she going to be enough to handle the incoming 3/3 rats? Really unsure about that here. Vampire again in the hand as well. Yeah, this could go south. We can really just get that vampire going, protect it from the serpent witch, and then set up for Raka turn 10 if we want to. I feel like Raka at this position could be pretty much the nail in the coffin for Vesa. You see, he's only running on 2 cards here.
Honestly, part of me would have expected him to blue fire, hit with rat, and then hit castle here for the 3 because of how extremely powerful that. Oh, and he does. It looks like
Yeah, a little too
he's going
early
to
on
do
that
that.
slash, but certainly that seems to be the play that we're going to see here. Following up with the vampire as well, so putting it in a great position to lead into a turn 10 Raka. Unless we see something like Scope or Phantom Strike out of the Minotaur to bop the incoming vampire. Seems very unlikely that we're going to be seeing a Raka block of some kind. And we're pretty much going to be seeing a Raka Noth in turn 10.
Yeah, I think that's the way this match is shaping up here. The fact that Vasaven is still behind on buffs, though, it feels so bad to play from a position like this. But at the same time, you have to blame him. He's solely responsible for everything that has happened at this point. He's allowed this position to develop simply off of, I mean, his own, I don't know, aggression.
Yeah, I mean it's his play style. It's something that people can, once they understand, it's not too difficult to form your ideas and strategies to counter it if you're having trouble with it. But yeah, I think up against a player like DA who is more patient, more methodical, it's a bad matchup here, I think, unfortunately, for Vesa. Not to discredit him as a bad player. Vesa obviously has done very good work and continues to do very good work
He did that wrong.
within the
He did
game.
it wrong. He needed to hit with rat first.
Yep. Needed to connect with the rat. So, yeah, we can see like even DA here does a couple of occasional misplays. It's not out of the question to see that kind of happen. We do see a 5/5 rat though. That's very cool, very epic. But yeah, a big chunk of damage now missing from that initial Raka swing. So could give Vesa the chance he needs to kind of recover here. The rat could easily pop into the Rakanoth and the Kraken making an appearance now, of course going after the hobble. Like you mentioned before, Krakens can be very funny in which they could just take any sort of back row virtually for free, although I don't think that thing's sticking around. We see the 5/5 rat. We see the vampire in hand, vampire necromancer even, just to solidify our board state even further. You can see Shaman probably move in. Yep. And Slash, I mean, do you have anything to add to this current board state? Because I feel like I can understand the direction it's going, but obviously you have your insights, I have
It's
mine.
not over till it's over, but this looks gosh darn over.
Yeah, it kind of does. It certainly does. I mean, gotta see until the end here. Basic gonna probably bring out the okay Elvish Thief. Enough to clear out the shaman. We can body block with the blacksmith if we desperately need to. Right,
Does he play Mordok?
more
I think
damage.
Mordok's no, it's
Nope.
over.
It is the captain, a unit that can easily be popped with Dragon's Fire. Uh, just for that added damage here. We do the correct thing in the dual body block, which is great, but we already know Fat Dragon's Fire sitting in hand is going to be pretty much lights out. When you see a big 5 connection here, the vampire following suit. Whatever Vesa has off the draw, if it can kill the rat, great. If it can't stand at the execution, that's going to be game. Nah, well, okay. Fear, pushing back the vampire. Okay. Do you have a Mordok, maybe? Mordok would be good to kind of reset the body count a little bit on your side here. You put the rat in. No? That's going to be another Kraken. Going for an armory, not going to be enough here. As you can see, Rat is still pretty beefy from that drain, or from that Grendel buff earlier, excuse me. And that is going to be a game over. So, Slash, we do have DA advancing in round 2, meaning he will face Tweakin. So we are guaranteed a round 3. But yeah, I mean, any sort of thoughts on this one? Further beyond what we've
Honestly,
mentioned?
I think if DA didn't fish out that rat hovel, he would have lost this game to the sheer aggression. At the same time, Vesa should have never been full pushing the way he did.
Yeah,
It
it's
really got punished
certainly.
for it, and he has no one to blame for but himself on this one.
I mean, we it's just Base's personality, right? It's just the way he plays, and that's sort of what makes him special, what makes him him, and we wouldn't have it any other way. But
And we love Vesa for it.
yes, we do. We very much love him. But folks, we do have one more match for round two before we move into round three, and that will be, of course, Uj taking on Jesper. Both players have a chance to give a lead going into round three for each other's team. Slash, you ready to go into it?
I sure am.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and get you that match right now. Slash, we have approached game three of round two. English is on point as always. And it's going to be Uj taking on Jesper 13 here in another mirror matchup of colors. How excited are you to see the blue yellows now facing off?
I feel like this is going to be an extremely interesting matchup, actually, as we have an extremely defensive deck in War Party and an extremely aggressive deck in the survival push that Uj is bringing to the table. I also think that Uj is going to struggle because he has this early game which is not very prone to aggression, and the moment that Jesper can filter through to a single pillar, I think it's going to be game over unless Uj is running something like a Reclaim, which even then is not that scary to Jesper because he can just get that second pillar, he can additionally get that additional cloak. There's so many options for dealing with single target enemies, which respite like there's nothing that you can just do against pillar in the early game except for reclaim, and for Uj to be running that is madness.
Right, and we'll just go ahead and skip forward a little bit there as we're seeing some lumberjack exchanges happening now. Uj, of course, giving Jesper quite a couple of cards there, which a little nerve-wracking for the war party to be collecting more cards this early, but no big deal. Lich hitting the board here, of course, going to freeze off Drake and Books. Again, yes, we're still on this slightly older variation of War Party, running tools like T-Rex and Lich, which aren't normally seen in the more modern styles of War Party, but still very curious to see how he's going to adapt to whatever Uj is playing here. Is now we're going to go for the Crumbling Archives, flashing the Priest status, implying that he's got that little combo with giving the Crumbling Archives the +1 health.
So I want to address something real quick, Red.
Go for it.
What do you think is in the modern war party if Lich is not in it? Because my boy Lich out here putting in work. Sure, he used to be a 3-3. Now he's just a 2-3 little baby. But he's still putting in work.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You are correct. However, in the older War Party variations, we ran, or things like Pillar were run, but people decided not to play Cloak for the fact that they thought Lich was better. Cloak wasn't really too big, I think, as a free stall tool. The same time that Pillar was, it eventually became of a near similar level, but we saw things. Okay, fucking.
Looks like we're gonna have a non-interactive game here, folks, until about round 10.
And I say that, and Jesper packs in his cloak of ice anyway here. Honestly, Slash, I'm speaking out of my ass. I didn't play War Party back in the day, so I couldn't really tell you what was an older part in
Real
older
quick,
compared
I'm
to
going to tell
modern.
you about what's about to happen here. There's no way Uj is ever going to be able to remove that dwarf. He has a unit on face, so he can never push down the center lane. That dwarf can literally move back and forth from top to bottom on castle. He can even move away from castle, stopping any chain potential, and he will not have any issues as he can always move back within one turn to get a refreeze. Here, Uj is not even pressing the issue. There's no good way to play against this because he has that singular unit on face. It may look like an issue that Jesper has one of his forward spawns blocked, but it's not actually because he has this entire round to unfreeze to move away. Honestly, Uj's best bet right now is to play Cloak of Ice on his books and ensure that that dwarf cannot move, and then begin attacking it from another angle, and wait until he has something like a Lightning Blade that can clean up multiple enemies. Though I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea right now for him to simply keep these freezing pillars and cloak in hand and wait for that war party and simply freeze it off with the units he may already have on the board.
Right, and it's just a question of will we see that from him? Does Uj think that the free stall is more prevalent now, or will it be more important later to hold on? We'll have to see as the match goes on here. Meanwhile, Uj pressing a couple of additional units here. We do see Faithful, we do see Wraith, Priest looking to press into that miner up top. Lich coming out for part 2, Electric Boogaloo. It does not get the Priest freeze, but a freezing pillar right in the... Oh, God.
And that's probably game there, ladies and gentlemen. He's got his Yarheim set up. The board's going to be completely frozen. Whoever, it's just going to be so difficult. And there's the Cloak of Ice that I think should have come down on the books way sooner, but
Hey,
I can't
it's
blame
here
Uj.
now.
He doesn't have the deck to be able to deal with a war party at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm very curious if Jesper is going to be able to make good use of that fact, or if something else is going to happen here or transpire. Meanwhile, Slash, we talk about how fat this books is in terms of statuses right now. Have you ever seen a status list that goes as far as books is right now?
In an actual competitive game of CNC, never. I genuinely have no idea what is going on in this game any longer. I understand what's going on from Jesper's perspective, but why Uj is running this amount of freeze and this many weird cards is beyond me.
A lot of draw elements as well in the deck.
Look at this. He has all the draw in the world. He has the more aggressive deck, and yet Jesper still has
Oh,
like
no, the
if he didn't top
paladin.
deck there, if he didn't top deck there, he wouldn't have even been able to clean up a single Dwarven miner.
Oh boy. But I mean, this is still a worse position. I mean, again, the
Watch Yarheim
Yarm,
come out.
the
Yeah, watch
Yarm is right
Yarheim come
here.
out.
Oh my god.
He probably has it in hand too.
I wouldn't be surprised out of, 8 cards. One of them is a Yarm, and this is... Oh, there it
There
is.
it is.
Fat Yarm value, baby. Gonna take out a lot of things. Church, Faithful Drake,
The,
Paladin, books.
I will say if there's one reason that people should play Yarheim, it's because it's cool. Not just the immense value you can get in late game, but because it's cool.
I mean, he does emanate an aura of dominance that I think is unmatched by
He's
others.
glowing green, dude. The Lich isn't glowing green. Yarheim's glowing green.
What about the miner in the back, bro?
He's got cloak on, so we don't count him.
Oh, okay. Clearly. Yep, Freezing Pillar probably come out now from Uj, because he can't directly deal with this Yarm this turn. He's got the Mordok, which is neat, but not really much else going on here. He did manage to keep his Crumbling Archive alive through all that as well. So he'll get some extra cards for sure. Hopefully they'll be useful here, as now we're hitting the War Party. Hitting one of, I don't know how many we'll see this game, but War Party nonetheless. Yenneroth gonna hit the board now. Freeze everything if it wasn't already frozen. T-Rex.
Ooh. That's going to push that Yarheim right in between that church and the crumbling archives. It's, no matter what, it is guaranteed to do damage to castle.
Yep. It's a great reason why T-Rex was, again, run in the older variations here. You get that push of big units that are going right onto face, as opposed to more modern build, which opt to just be a little more, here's all my units, you deal with them somehow. We do get some free Morlocks, though, for Uj's side, which is not bad. The problem is, we really don't have a clear way that's, the most beneficial. I think we're going to be taking some form of pain in this exchange somehow.
Do you think that Jesper has a Craxus? Because I think at a certain point, whoever draws Craxus and starts cleaning up the quote-unquote weird stuff on the board is, oh, that's such a bad...
Yeah.
I understand what he's doing. So what he's doing there is he's removing his pillars, so that way there's no point that Jesper can go ahead and begin hitting it with, say, a Craxus or a Yarheim, and he's removing things that can be chained on the board. However, I think it's going to make it so much easier for Jesper to come back and have a strong center play that he couldn't have had before.
Right. Of course, the board getting frozen a lot more here. T-Rex not pushing Dramoth because of the stalwart Dramoth has. There's another Yarm Giant. Gonna bop into the Wraith, doing a little bit here. That raw Yarm, though, will get pushed up thanks to T-Rex. And we do have some Morlocks to play with now for turn. Oh, and another one. That's fun. And another Pillar Slash. The fun just keeps coming.
I'll be honest, I like this kind of matchup. I think it's very much about positioning, and positioning early game can really hurt you late game in a way that other deck setups won't. And I think it's all about the foreknowledge of whether or not you're going to be playing against Pillar. I think this is the match both players were expecting.
Most likely here, it seems to be, just by the way both of them are kind of playing this match out. Plea, of course, hitting the board now, landing on the Wraith and one of the two Morlocks, the one that is probably engaging, okay, or not. We're not going to engage with that Yarm down there, which is a bizarre choice to me, because we had that top Morlock. I guess we still fear Yarm for some reason. Oh, we wanted better freezing pillar setup, I guess.
He shouldn't hit that. He shouldn't hit that. And he needs to clean up the bottom Yarheim, but he can't.
Nope. He's nowhere near it. That resolve Morlock was his...
He needs to hibernate it.
Nope, not going to do so. Instead, we're going to...
That's 6 damage on face.
Yeah. We lose our healing from the church because of that. Trying to think here. We don't really have... I mean, I guess...
And worse yet, he's still not attacking the enemy castle at all.
Right. I think Jesper's castle has been pretty much untouched the entirety of this game here. Divine Knowledge going to draw more resources into the hand. Another Lich hitting the board here. That's all good. I think we're freezing. What did we freeze off there?
He froze off the books once again, and then additionally the Wraith in the back.
Oh, okay. I was like, did he freeze off the books? I wasn't sure. But nope, Yarm gonna connect for another 6 damage, killing off the church in the process. Dramoth not getting the fear effect off of Wraith. Again, the stalwart taking effect here. And of course the lumberjack gonna come out now just to be...
And it's gonna be an additional 2 damage going on face there with this Yarheim, which should probably come out.
Actually, can Yarm run past, bop the Lich, and deal a whole lot of chain?
And additionally, he may freeze off that opposing Yarheim.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. I think he's got multiple chances because the Lich in the back will also die, right? Yep. Nope.
No, and he doesn't hit.
Getting additional frozen targets. We can work this Mordock back around if we wanted to.
I think he also needs to play faster here, as he is slowly losing on time.
Do not hit the Yarm with the Banshee.
I bet he's going to do it and then play Lumberjack.
No, you better not.
No, it's fine if he moves his... Yep, now it's fine.
Yep, no, okay.
He messed up. He messed up. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Do we just not fear death? What? Huh? Why?
I'm gonna be honest, Red.
Why have we left
I have no idea what just happened. If there's a Yenroth anywhere in there for Jesper, or any sort of freeze, like a pillar... Oh, and he has Wind Mage. That's game.
Oh boy. That it? Oh. No, he's alive by 2.
He has 1 shot to clean this up. Yeah, there goes the shot.
I mean, the Dwarven weapons in hand slash. Can he give the units enough attack power? Oh.
And he has the blade.
Does he have
He still can't do it. +4, +5, +7.
And then Mordock generating a unit, right?
If he gets a whatchamacallit, a headless horseman that goes on face, he has it. But it's too late. He already missed his Dwarven weapons. Yep, he realizes he could have had it.
Oh my god. Ooge, 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 ooge. And Slash, we're back. This time round 3. We're doing it all in one more video here. And of course, as you mentioned earlier, Tweakin versus DA going to be our first of the round 3 matchups. As of course, we're back to the, I believe, green-white that Tweakin was on, going up against the Storm strategy here. Now, of course, you, Tweakin, Vesa, all good pals here from King of the Hills Pass. So, I mean, you got to be feeling pretty good for your buddy here, right? Or at least you're hoping he's got something up his sleeve.
I'd like to think so. I think he's. I mean, honestly, I think no matter what deck that's not running either Warlocks or Vikings is always going to struggle a bit more. I think he's really setting himself up with the tools here. I would have liked to see possibly, if not him playing Southport now. Tweaking. I prefer to see that Southport coming early, but so we can just start dropping lots and lots of value early on in the game. But I think that if DA doesn't hit something like a Dragon's Fire or something big like that, Tweakin's got himself a pretty nice setup so far.
Oh, and maybe even more so with the new Call for Aids in hand for turn. That can, of course, produce some big bodies that burn is not going to be very useful against, at least not initially, but we'll see. We'll see. We've got some interesting plays here. We can go for the scope rampage with the wizard now on board. Tweakin was alluding to that moments ago here. We see already setting up the wizard for that potential play. We're going to fear back the wizard, though, get some cycle. And of course, DA off to a bit of a slower start this game, Slash. Just the acolyte, no spawner building. We do see a blacksmith, but usually by this point, he either finds the hovel or the altar. This time, unfortunately, not picking up either option.
Hidden fees. Hidden fees. What is this?
This was, I believe, Tweakin actually told me before this matchup happened, he had some secret spice. I think this is his answer to.
It's a one copy. That better be a one copy.
This is his
something
answer to the
here.
buildings, I believe.
Something here I would have liked to have seen was actually scope rage, killing off the blacksmith. I think it would have been a bit heavy of an investment when he can draw something like, say, a single beast, and all of a sudden he's got that +1/+1 going on, which allows him to clean everything up on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But just this aggression from DA trying to get rid of the singular wizard. I think that it may be an overcommitment depending upon if there's any buffs drawn by Tweakin here. These Northlands Rangers are about to hit the field, and while DA is more than comfortable realistically just sitting back, I mean he may not have that opportunity with the pressure that could come from these 2 5 gold units.
Right, and of course, we're not going to see either one just yet this turn. We're going to wait for the Acolyte to potentially get a little closer here. But this does allow Tweakin to set up that Captain. Looking to give, I guess, Acolyte a bit more here. He's trying to really bait that in, I believe. Or at least get something to come a little closer. So that way he can get the Bestial Rage off effectively. But, I mean, this position for Tweakin is not too bad, I would say. Granted, we haven't seen much from DA. His strategy isn't popping off, but still, I think we're in a great spot right now. We do have a lot of future plays here that look very good against DA's deck. As we see, he's going to pop into the Southport Captain and get that zombie, of course. That body could be the launching platform for our Bestial Rage here, but we'll have to see if that is true or not. Unfortunately, we're going to lose the wizard here, but I think it's going to be fine. At least we didn't commit to it with the scope and Bestial Rage, or else that Dagger Storm would have been a lot more brutal, I believe, earlier. But overall, not a bad spot.
I'm very confused by how DA is pushing his. I mean, pushing these blacksmiths here. It's while he is killing off a wizard and he is killing off smaller units, that's not what usually you want to be doing. Oh no!
No.
No, Tweakin!
Yeah, the miscount of the gold. It would have been so good otherwise, but this is a big misplay.
He knows. He knows. He knows. Right there, if he had played that Bestial Rage, and he had played Lumberjack, trading with the zombie effectively on the bottom, I think it wouldn't matter realistically the rest of his hand. He would just be winning so well with having that big chunky unit in the center of the field, having a second one in hand, having no range to stall against it. and he's allowing this extra damage for no reason in my mind.
Yeah. Oh, and there's an execution. Oh, gross. I mean, we still technically have the Ranger Rage. However, maybe not so pretty this time around with the way it looks. I'll be
Well, I
interested to see if
wonder
he
what
commits to
he's
it.
else he has in hand. Maybe a Raka?
Yeah.
And the telegraphing coming in here from DA. I think that possibly. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that impactful. It's going to be 8 damage on Castle.
We do clean up the hovel with it as well. I would have really liked to see the
But he's
acolyte get
not
cleared
cleaning up.
off.
He's
Yeah.
not even cleaning up the anything on the board. He's not playing that Ranger he needed to play. I think he actually here he does. He should not play Hidden Thief. He should. I mean, he should not play Elvish Thief. He should play Hidden Fees. He plays Hidden Fees. That rack is not coming out next turn. That
Oh
rack up
yeah.
might never come out. Oh, and he figured it out. Watch DA not even have Rakanoth in hand now.
Oh my goodness. If he didn't have Raka, or at least this play would have been a little dud, but hell, if Raka is in the hand, and I really wish we could see DA's hand for this. If it was in the hand, big brain prediction by tweaking here. We'll see if it pays off. We're gonna see the
Honestly,
acolyte spawn probably another zombie here with the way position against the rat. That's okay. Slash, what were you gonna say here?
honestly, I feel like Tweekend is set up to lose this match right now simply due to the fact that he's not able to play on top. We're not seeing peak Tweekend here. He would normal Tweekend never would have played that Mana Core.
No.
I don't know if he's feeling nerves as he hasn't. It's been a decent time since he's played or something. Here I predict we're going to see Northland's Ranger into a nice bestial rage.
We have
I
enough for
don't believe
no, we don't have enough for scope.
he does. I believe we're one off.
Yeah, from that trilogy combo here. I think he's
Does he
looking
just
to.
scope and kill
I think he
only
does.
Mordok?
I think he does. I mean, we're still not at Raka territory yet because, again, the upkeep, and now we've lost the extra treasure. But this is gonna force Reaper to make a decision here on how he wants to proceed. Does he want to continue laying in the face shots, or does he want to focus on this now pretty threatening Ranger equipped with the scope here? Of course, we'll see the blacksmith coming out, making the trading potential a lot easier.
I'm gonna be honest, Red. I'm so completely confused by how both players have played this game and their approach. They're simply the ideas of how they're doing the mechanical trades here. Imagine if DA still had 2 more blacksmiths on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if he had just allowed the center to stall out. I think he would have won by now.
I mean, that is a potential claim, but as you said, the way that both of these players played is not how we normally see them. Of course, with DA's deck, it looks like he's very easily been able to recover, but Tweakin's not so much. It's, I think, tricky for a deck like this to refine its footing, especially when it lost a very prime position that we, talked about just moments ago. We'll see if he decides to do this here. Potentially Spirit Link off here. Can get the zombie. I think that's gonna fear back the. Oh no, it doesn't. Spirit Link absorbs that. Of course, you do finally bop off the acolyte. So thankfully, no longer in. Oh, hello. No longer in Raka range. Undead and dragons have been cleared. Now Tarius making an appearance.
And I bet we're gonna see Dragon's Fire. That's the just global buffs. We could still see that Dragon's Fire though.
No, yeah, we still got 6 golds. Nope. There's the Drake.
Nope, no, just a Drake.
Just a
And it's
Drake
got
and an
that
altar.
single tick going on the back here. Going to be brought down to 3 health here, I believe. Not, excuse me, 4 health here.
Yep.
I think it's going to be very, very difficult for. Oh, with that Mordok could be the saving grace for him to clean up the entire board.
Potentially. He has enough to even scope Rampage it as well, which I think is what we're going to be seeing here. In my opinion, probably should connect with the Necromancer.
I think he needs to connect with everything except for.
Okay, all right. We're cleaning up the board here. We're gaming. Banshee connecting with the Necromancer.
And Tweakin survives for another round, and that Ekin being huge here.
That's a big pickup. With both players now down to very minimal resources, I'm very curious to see what DA's got as the out for a scope rampage Mordock.
Mercenaries execution. We know he runs multiple.
Well, the question was slash whether or not he had it in hand, but by the play of Necromancer, it looks like that was not the case. Bolting the Wizard, curious if that was the pickup for turn. That would have been very big last turn, so we couldn't have assembled all of those scope Mordock pieces, if you will.
I wonder if DA is simply gonna. I was thinking he might actually push with that blacksmith there, so that way there's one more unit that Tweakin has to deal with.
Potentially, but I mean, no, it looks like he's going just
I
hamming.
think he should hit Necromancer here. It's the big, strong unit.
He's popping the armory, which is somewhat similar, I guess, but Banshee's now trading in both directions, it looks like. We're just going to clear board here with a Scope Mordock in the back. And a Grotesque offering. Great to sack off that Maddie, get some additional cards. There's multiple hidden fees, Slash.
I DA deserves to win.
Well, I mean, let's see if he
He
can
may
do
not
it.
win though.
No.
There's a lot of damage that's about to come in on face.
Oh, there's a Mordock. That's going to be a trade here.
Oh, that's
Oh,
game.
that's so gross. Oh, folks, the sudden death is right there. Oh, and Tweakin knows it's over. Oh, that's so gross. And he can't even commit the additional damage here. We have 7 committed to face, but that is nowhere near enough to end this game. Actually, more than that. Excuse me, 11 damage. But no, we just saw no damage from the other side of the game. You know, this is the first time I think Tweakin's getting on castle, and yeah, it's just, oh, that's brutal. I think it's hard to say if maybe he committed more to face before this. He would have been able to maybe squeak out the win before sudden death, but still, that was an incredible hint of Horseman RNG going in the wrong direction. It could have landed on multiple other targets, but just decides to go into the castle, and it's such a weird game. Slash, it was such a weird game.
I'll be honest. I'm still confused. I'm confused. I'm impressed. I'm flabbergasted.
And that
Great game from both players, but
hey.
2 hidden fees?
Well, I mean, you can you can question him on that later. But because Reaper did win here, we actually move into a final game now. If you remember, Jesper won his round 2 matchup, and he represents Tweakin's team. So, Slash, we've come down to the very final match between both of these teams here. It's going to be Jesper taking on Reaper in a potentially very interesting match, and I think we should hit that now. What do you say?
Yeah, let's get to it.
And folks, we have come down to our final matchup. It is going to be DA taking on Jesper. Blue-yellow taking on the red-green here. We know from the various other games, both players' deck list. We know the DA's on the red-green Undead Swarm. We know Jesper's on the classic blue-yellow War Party. Slash, this is going to be a very interesting match, to say the least. Both players very experienced, very knowledgeable in the game, and I'm very excited to see what both of them can do in this game.
I think that I'm gonna have to. Here's the thing: we know that Jesper's running War Party. We know he's running a filter War Party. DA's not running a fast deck. He's running, in fact, a rather slow deck. His removals, not things like Drain Life, which can allow tons of damage to come in on castle. Everything targets a unit.
Mm-hmm.
If Jesper just simply never plays a unit, that removal can just get stuck in hand. Additionally, with freeze, I think he only has blue firebolt as an answer. There's no scope. There's no big ranged units in here. Yeah, you have acolyte, but there's nothing to buff it aside from globals. I think that Jesper has a decent chance of pulling this off. However, I think I still have to favor DA here, as he's got double Mordock in hand, and that's going to be such a deadly turn 7, turn 8 if he coins into one of them.
I mean, hopefully we'll see that. Right now, we don't know if Jesper is got the War Party already in hand, but we will see, of course, the first instance of freeze dropped off. We do get the Acolyte Faithful Drake here. It's going to be a little gross, to say the least, and we don't really have a clear way to out it. We do have the Fear to push it back to temporarily unfreeze our units, which is going to be
The
fine.
fear's not going to do anything though. He can just move it immediately right back.
Oh, right. Yep. I'm stupid. I'm thinking of a different kind of freeze. If you know, you know. Um, but we will see the fear regardless. I think it is needed for a bit of cycle here in his mind. And of course, we are going to probably throw the second Drake. Yeah. Second Drake going to hit the board here. I think probably not moving a whole lot. We'll go
3
a little
days,
bit.
Red. 3 days.
3 days slash 3 days, indeed. If you know, you know. Well, technically not from when this video launches.
Yeah, you're gonna release it, and they're gonna be like, "That was like 20 days ago."
Well, we're gonna see the Faithful Drake pushed up top here, potentially predicting where the miner's gonna go and maybe getting more prepared for it. We do have the Necromancer in hand, but that will set up a gross line of chain if we decide to commit to that play.
Yeah, I think that DA is not really able to push here, but neither is Jesper. And this is the exact position that War Party wants to be in. I think that it's gonna be a very, I mean, as always with War Party, it's gonna be a very stally game, but it's gonna be one that is not necessarily the worst thing for DA here because he does have that slower deck. We're seeing Rakanoth come out. That can nearly wipe an entire War Party if it's the wrong kinds of cards in there. If you get something like double Rakanoth or even triple Rakanoth in hand, all of a sudden he's looking at a nice castle OTK if Jesper ever plays a single War Party.
That is true. That is certainly true. I'm also trying to decide
Shoutouts to
commentary.
Astroid, by the way, for
Shoutouts to Asteroid.
helping me with making the actual War Party.
Uh,
Being the only other person to run it at
at peak performance hours.
at peak performance.
We'll see what happens here, though. Looks like we're gonna start pushing up the Acolyte a little bit here, which is fine, I guess. Drake's also potentially able to move in the back. We did draw a blue Firebolt, I believe, for turn. So that could potentially be used, although I think we're going to save that in case Pillar hits the board. Like you mentioned before, I think that is his only answer to something like Pillar being dropped. So very crucial that we are going to be keeping that in hand for a little bit. Please don't. Okay.
No,
Well, there it goes.
I don't think DA has any idea what he's playing against. I don't think he knows what this deck is.
Maybe, and that
He's only seen freeze good stuff.
so far, right? And that is something that's not really uncommon in ladder either. People like to run freeze all the time, whether it's with Mystic Rats or just other Vikings. Freeze is a very powerful ability that is very rampant among blue in general in the ladder. So potentially just being nervous, I guess, with Wind Mage kind of should maybe shotgun his fear or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, very interesting that we commit the blue Firebolt to removing a Wind Mage of all things. We'll see if it costs him. There is Lich hitting the board here, so again, kind of reinforcing that it could just be more freeze. But Explorer gonna get a nice little
Double draw
pickup.
coming out here.
No, yeah, double. Get the Explorers
Do
in prime
you
position.
think? Do you think that DA is not playing his Necromancer because he doesn't? He thinks that Jesper doesn't know what he's running. Because to me, I thought he would have played it so that way he could do this double Mordok with the +1/+1 instead of just a +1 damage buff.
I think he's really just held on to the Necromancer because at no point does it seem super valuable to use. Necromancer is an interesting card in War Undead. It gives them an extra global that other decks don't have access to. But you have to remember that DA has had like no other undead units other than, you know, Zombie and now Mordok showing up to get any sort of benefit. So I don't think he just had any sort of reason to commit to it, to be honest. It's just a matter of, I don't find it's going to be super impactful now. I mean, Jesper should already know what he's playing by the Acolyte, so I don't think
Oh, that's so bad for DA.
yeah.
And while he's still in this very controlling position, especially with the Dragonspire hitting the board, the time that Mordok is simply sitting back and not hitting face is such a big deal here for War Party to.
Absolutely. And we're going to see another Mordok committed to the board. Now, this one going to yield a Banshee. Probably going to see that commit to... Oh, we're going to go more control here, or should we go for face? I mean, personally, I'd like to see some more damage established, but I understand the concern with leaving some additional units on the board, but he will go for
I
face.
think he now knows. I think he now knows he's playing War Party because otherwise he would have immediately gone for control. He knows that the units he has on the board right now are not an asset. The units that Jesper's running, in many ways, they don't matter because the moment that War Party's dropped, everything's frozen, everything's pushed back, and everything's chained out of existence.
Right, and who's to say that maybe that Yarm isn't coming this turn? We do have 9 gold when we pass back to Jesper, Mordok, and Drake in a very prime position to cause some lightning chaos, if you will. It's just a matter of if he has it or not, really. Explorer gonna go ahead, chip away at the Acolyte. Alright, seems okay here. Let's gonna pop into the Banshee, removing that from play here. Make sure the freeze is minimal. And there is a Yarm Giant gonna hit the board now. This will, of course, create a lot of chain on the board. A lot of zap zap. We do get the Wraith, which is not bad, but we lost most of the board that we established throughout this game, and that never feels too good.
Yeah, each of those Morlocks only got to trade with a single unit, and that's really making it so that way their value is super critically underperforming for what DA was hoping for, I'd assume.
I have to imagine, yeah. Now we're probably going to see the Necromancer come out, at least one copy. We do have the Wraith down board. This could be a bit of a threat, excuse me. Going for the armor play as well, since we have the extra gold. Makes sense. We're probably going to knock into the arm from the back. This would, of course, make a spawn space blocked off for a potential War Party play here. Although, that can be very easily cleaned up if War Party does hit the board, let's be honest. And now the moment of truth. Okay, nope, that was wrong. There is a Yenaroth. Still able to clean up the Wraith, though. Nice how that stat line traded out for Jesper there. And
We're probably
unfortunately,
going to see the mercenaries come out here to protect that necromancer, won't we?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, and there it goes. Simple as that. We do have another Bolt, too, which is a nice pickup. Again, interesting to note that this is his answer to Freezing Pillar, if it is. So hopefully we're not going to waste this on another Wind Mage. At least we can hope. I think he's debating on whether or not he commits a journey, but I don't think there's any need to.
I think additionally something that's looking pretty bad for DA now is he only has 2 units in hand. And if that... Oh, and the hand's coming on castle.
Yep. Jesper's classic heal tool. Oh, there's another unit. But yeah, no, you're right. The quality of units coming into DA's hand, while the Necromancers are good as beat sticks as well, we can't summon the Rakanoth on this board, and the Lumberjack is pretty small compared to maybe the monsters that are in Jesper's hand here. So yeah, you definitely have a good note there that as we're going to progress in this game further, it feels like DA's pool of units is going to get smaller and potentially weaker, but hopefully we'll see him maybe draw something like a vampire. We know he has that from the Mulligan and earlier games as well.
Another interesting effect that's about to come into play, or may not come into play, but that push could have been very, very, very bad for Jesper. If I mean, not very bad for Jesper, very, very good for him. If he had a Craxus in hand, that's an additional two
cards.
2 cards to play in a War Party, and that could be another 2 Dramoths, that could be a Yenroth and another Craxus, which all of a sudden you're in this very, very sticky and scary situation that you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see, it looks like the Ragnar now feared away here. Pulling the Hovel, not something we really need right now. We do have the Lumber Draw as well, another interesting note here. We're probably going to see Necromancer pop into a Yarm Giant here, just to start clearing off some of these huge bodies. We can't
DA is
summon
going to run
Raka.
into time issues, I think.
Maybe. I think he might be overthinking this just a little bit here. And that is, of course, something that he's known to do, just extending out the turn. Smith is going to pop out here. A unit, but not one that we can pop Rakanoth into, unfortunately. Which isn't great. Looks like we're going to probably clear off... Oh, we can actually clear off Dremoth and Yarm here. Pop the Blacksmith up top. Necromancer going to pop into the Dremoth. Should probably move the Smith up before time.
If he doesn't do it, I was afraid we were about to see another banana play.
Right. Not the spot I would think. Actually, no, that's fine. It's fine. It's okay. And now we are just left with the rack in hand. Unfortunately, not able to summon it. Usually under War Party, of course, / you know this, rack can be very funny. But unfortunately, we just did not have the units out on the board that were allowed to be sacrificed for a Rakanoth. Hands of the Saint not coming back out. Gonna pop into the Yarm Giant. Gonna keep this thing alive for a little bit longer. Dagger Storm, Unholy Altar. Unfortunately, not able to clean up the Yarm. Yarm does survive just by 1 HP if he commits to this play.
The nice positioning there, though, from DA with that blacksmith. We know exactly where he wants to put those altars. So that way he can have those faster zombies that can hit towards the center of the board. I don't think he should be trading here. I think he needs to just take the 2 damage. He can't let this hit face. He needs to just block. No matter what, because of that healing, he's in a very, very poor position.
Absolutely, and we've seen one land on Castle. The second going to Yarm, which may be a mistake if Reaper can bounce this Rakanoth in his face at some point. But looks like we're gonna block the Blacksmith. You said we're gonna absorb 2 damage at most from this Yarm. We are gonna commit to that as well. We don't lose the hovel this way, which is good. We can keep producing token bodies, and Craxus now in response. That is going to be somewhat tough to deal with. Oh, and another Raka. We do thankfully have the zombie, so we're probably gonna go into the Raka here. At least 1 copy. Yep, it's gonna pop the Yarm. Probably gonna swing in from behind and pop into the cracks as well, just to negate Jesper's draw, which we know he definitely wants because, like you mentioned, more cards. Okay.
Oh, I dislike that. I dislike that immensely.
Yeah, that's yeah, no.
So something sneaky that could be about to happen here is we could see a Wind Mage into a Yarheim, which would in fact end the game. However, that is not the case.
Oh, we do
War
see
Party
the
coming
War
out.
Party. There is the Yeneroth. There's the Dremoth. Yep, a lot of dragons hitting the board here. We've seen 3 out of the big 4 so far. Big 5? Yeah. All we're missing is Vileroth and Moten. Still, we're going to get T-Rex as well. This is going to push in the Yeneroth, I believe, into face, which adds Birdle. Oh, and of course another T-Rex to buff each other. Lovely. He should...
Are we going to see a Ragnar or a
No,
chain?
that's not
Oh,
correct.
and he's staggered these correctly, I believe, that
No.
it will not actually push those first 2.
Yeah. The one that was summoned first will, of course, pop first. So, I'm not sure if that was the intent, but neat little interaction there. We throw it back to Day, who does have a vampire, as well as a necromancer and a Raka, which could all be summoned under the war party. Will it be enough, though, to bounce back here in this matchup? I don't think so.
He's only going to be having +2 on his undead units now. I mean, a single Yarheim. I dislike this. He's very much, even though he's getting such a big power play out of this one Raka, it's too little, too late.
Yeah, especially when the war party has popped off now twice, I believe. And we have to put in the vampire into the T-Rex, which is never good. We leave the Yeneroth on board unless we hit 2. No, we don't hit 2 on the Yeneroth. We can't. We have to commit the Raka to trade with it, or else we lose.
And we could see any kind of chain here, which would, in essence, put the nail in the coffin here for DA.
Yarm can walk up, swing against the... Actually, have we seen all 3 Yarms?
I believe we've only seen 2. No, I think we've seen all 3.
I think we might have seen all 3. Yeah, so Yarm actually might be out of the question, but still, Ragnar as a chain, while not having Thunderstrike, could still prove to be annoying. You're getting a nice freeze over on that Rakanoth, making the T-Rex more viable to clean it up with. Blue Firebolt as well. Not bad.
I think it's only delaying the inevitable here,
Absolutely.
however.
Yeah, I mean...
Especially with how many units are going to start clogging the board here for DA, that chance of Ragnar hitting and just simply touching face for barely anything and killing is very, very high.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing like the struggles a bit in terms of where we can put our units, how to essentially not land on face. We need to move the zombie up. Yep. So that way we are protecting the castle just a little bit here. The cloak will, of course, freeze off that zombie, but again, not much we can do, and I think you're right. We are just delaying the inevitable here. We know DA's got no form of castle heal unless he pulls it off of a Banshee of all things, but seems very unlikely that we'll get to that point in this matchup. Lumberjack draw for Jesper now.
We haven't seen a pillar yet.
We haven't. we have not. Are you gonna be the predictor though? And oh my god. And there it is, Slash. You happy that we've now seen the pillar?
Uh, I don't know if I'm happy. I'm happy we get to see War Party though. I Da is a great player.
Mhm.
I'll be honest. I think if it was any of the old dogs up against this match, if it was Banana, if it was Tweakin, if it was
Astroy.
Vesivin, if it was Astroy, even with his jank deck, Warp. I mean, especially Tweakin. The moment he plays Hidden Fees, never ever is War Party ever coming out. I think that this would have been a fairly easy win, but it's just Da has not had to deal with
We
the
have to
crap
chain.
storm. Yeah, he has not had to deal with the crap storm that was old War Party, and he's not had to deal with the crate brick and Yoda error. And so because of this, he's just not he's not scared enough yet of War Party. He doesn't know
Does
exactly the
not have the
positioning. He
fear.
doesn't do all those things. He hasn't had to go through the pain and experience that a lot of the and there's the other pillar
Yep, there it is.
that the other players
Right in
have
front.
had to go through.
I feel like at this point we're just BMing to make a chain more valuable, but it doesn't matter. I mean, DA passes the sudden death back, and that's it. We see that he can't get any form of damage to the other side of the board. If Shaman wasn't there, we could easily Mordock,
Shaman Raka?
it doesn't matter. We would have to. Well, Shaman Raka neat, but we don't have enough to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
anything with it.
He doesn't have the gold for that.
It's an acolyte.
Man, that acolyte sure is useful here.
Absolutely, and of course we're gonna see the bodies hit the board, but that is gonna do it. Nothing that DA can do to get damage to the other side, or enough damage on the other side to beat out Jesper. So of course it will mean that Jesper wins, and for that the old dogs win our event. Lovely performances by all, and Slash, what a series of matches we saw here for this event. Absolutely wild. The ups, the downs, the pain, the why are you playing Hidden Fees?
Whatever Tweakin brought.
But you know, Slash, it was of course my pleasure to have you for the series of
It was my pleasure
matches.
to cast it.
Of course, and big shout outs to all the players who were involved on both sides here. I know some people got more matches than others, but still seeing everyone come together for an event like this, especially to kind of commemorate what C1 has accomplished, it's fantastic. I'll probably talk more about this in my outro, but I just wanted to mention this again because this is what I'm going to be doing. This is the outro for you, Slash. You're not going to jump on anymore, I believe. So
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a great one and enjoy C2.
of course, yes. Enjoy C2. So, with that being said, folks, we are going to transition out of this and give you a proper send off for this video. And with that being said, folks, of course, that will conclude our video. I know I did a lot of outro stuff, I believe, towards the end of that last match. If you made it this far, thank you. Congratulations. Hopefully you did enjoy the content. This was very special and fun to make, albeit time consuming with everyone's different time zones and whatnot. But regardless, a lot of fun to make, and hopefully it kind of sends off CNC 1 in a great way. The game is not going to be gone, obviously, but I know a lot of people are very excited and very eager to switch over to CNC 2 for some fresh and exciting action. And so I think CNC 1 is going to take a dip in player base. So that's kind of why we're doing this whole big little send off in a way. It is going to be still around, but you know, with the way that we're heading in the future, I think we can expect maybe some CNC2 content to dominate for a while. And so that's, you know, the idea. But regardless, hopefully, like I said, you did enjoy. Be sure to let me know what you think of the matches here and what maybe were some of your favorite times from CNC 1 as we get ready for CNC 2 in potentially a few hours from where I launched this video. Crazy indeed. But yeah, let me know some of your favorite moments from this video or of CNC 1, your CNC run career in general. Again, I think English failed, but that's okay. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Be sure to share it with your friends and subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already. This way that you can show your support to the channel, after all, at no additional cost to you. And hopefully I'll see some of your beautiful faces over in CNC2 when that launches again in just a few hours. I'm not sure if I'll be putting out content day one per se, but I will be putting out content. I know there's gonna be a lot of streams happening day one, so it should be fun. But anyways, with that being said, folks, that's to do it for me for now. Until next time, stay gaming.